All right guys, welcome back to Turbo Time. Today we're going to be installing our JD fuel system in our 2023 F-150. This is a returnless style fuel system, completely drop in, plug and play. It's supposed to be good for 1,000 horsepower. So it's completely controlled by the factory ECU. It works with an additional fuel pump control module, everything that's included in their kit. I'm going to determine whether we're going to go ahead and take off the bed or drop the tank to go ahead and get this system in there. So stay tuned. All right, so if we want to take off the bed, all we got to do is take off this one main plug along with our backup camera plug. And I believe nothing else is connected to the bed, along with this one ground. And then there's 6 bolts that hold the bed to the frame. If we're going the tank drop option, we have 1 bolt for this strap and another bolt for this strap. Regardless, if we're dropping the tank, this skid plate needs to come off. Looks like it's on there with 4 bolts. And then if we're taking off the bed, I believe we can disconnect that from up there and kind of let all of this hang out. If we're dropping the tank, we got to undo that 7mm. And then this just, the tank straps just clip in on this side. All right guys, so ended up dropping the tank instead of the original plan. So again, there's the 7mm that goes on this little clamp that will be accessible to you from right here in the wheel well. The only 2 things you got to disconnect before you begin lowering the tank are going to be the fuel line and this front evap line. I'm going to show you guys. This one, you pop the clip back, and as soon as the clip is popped back about this far, the line will come out. Be careful, it will have pressure. I undid this one just to have better access to the other line. Same deal, you pull out on this tab and that allows you to pull it out. This one is your standard, more of the standard evap line. The way this one works is you pinch these 2 together, push it in a little bit, pinch this, and that'll let you pull it out. The plugs that need to come off are just your fuel pump plug. The way this one works, you get a pick or a small screwdriver, you push out on this red tab. You do not have to remove it all the way. Push down, pull out, and then these, you could have unplugged this and left this on the tank. It was just easier. These are the same push style connectors and they come right out. And that's pretty much all you need besides the 2 tank straps to bring the tank down. So I decided to go about it this way right now. That other hose goes from here to here. Once you lower the tank a little bit where you can actually see, it's easier to get in from the driver's side and reach all this stuff up here. I'm going to show you guys now the JD fuel system. It actually uses a fuel pump control module, an additional one, to control both pumps. That way your tuner can control both pumps via the factory ECU. And they do include an upgraded fuel filter kit. I believe this is out of a GT350 with some adapter fittings. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to put this in this other box. Well, the fuel pump is in there, but let's get to the wiring portion of things. all this is just going to go up to the front, but I'll show you guys that in a moment. And then we got our two wiring harnesses for the fuel pump control module. After your tank is out, you're going to see your factory fuel pump control module right here. It's on there with 2 10s. We're going to take that down because we're going to bolt everything to our JD Solutions bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and zip this off and I'll show it to you on the bench. All right, guys, so this is what comes out. You have to trim right here with a Dremel. I use the oscillating tool. You just kind of trim this to match the one that comes with their kit, because that's how their harness is. You can see their OEM one is also trimmed in that same spot. They say to try to make it as smooth as possible to get a weather tight seal. This comes with their kit and it's pretty simple. Has a guide pin to show you which way each one is going to line up. So basically now this goes just like this, and it's going to allow us to go ahead and throw this back in the truck. Well, now we will have 2 fuel pump control modules. You can see I laid out the harness here. This is going to go to where our factory fuel pump plug went that came off of this. These 2 will go onto here, and we're going to use a factory ground. I'll show you guys where it's going to be grounded to. So we're going to go ahead and throw this back in there. They include the hardware as well as this billet bracket, but let's go ahead and throw this back in there and I'll show you guys what that looks like. All right, so basically our bracket goes right up here with both of our modules. The ground goes to this factory ground, which is what already grounds this harness. This is basically just a splitter. This is what comes from the harness, plugs into our splitter harness, which plugs both in. And then now we're just going to go ahead and tie this up, zip it up, and this is just going to come forward to the engine compartment where we have a relay, our power for that pump that's going to come from the battery, and a fuse signal that's going to go to the fuse box from here, but I'll show you guys that when we get up there. All right, so we got all of that buttoned up. Here's our factory pump. This is going to be to our secondary pump. Everything comes here together, and then you neatly tie up all these lines. You run that forward. This is going to be our fuel filter setup. It goes to the factory line, loops right back around. We put it over the frame rail and just follow our factory harness right along. I'm going to put that into the engine bay and across. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to physically throw the pump in the tank. We'll throw the tank back up there and then finish up all of our wiring. Obviously, taking the tank down is a pain. It's the more difficult part of the job, but I gotta say this kit is super plug and play. Really satisfied with this kit so far. They say you can make 1,000 on E85. We're gonna shoot for at least 850. Let's get this tank back up there. All right, guys, swapping pumps is the easy part. We can see our JD Solutions fuel pump. Looks pretty much just like the stock, except it has 2 pumps in there. Comes with the fuel float and everything already. All we got to do is transfer over our gasket, and we're going to put it right back where the factory pump was. In the pump, in the tank rather, there is this one line. It's our crossover tube. We got to get the pump in the tank first, and then we have to plug that to the bottom of the hat in the same spot we took it off of the factory one. I'm gonna go ahead and actually put our gasket back on the tank itself. That way I don't have to mess with it. That's a quick connect, goes right back on, and we just need to line up our pump, how it was in there previously. Alright, so this is how it'll look when it's done. This is the orientation that you want. It's a little bit springy, so it feels like you're bottoming out, but you're not. You gotta press it to the bottom and then go ahead and fasten it down. This ring locks. We're gonna go ahead and get the tank back up there and finish up our wiring. All right, our connection up front is really simple. We're going to fuse 25, so you put there, add a fuse on 25. It's powered right here by the one closest to the frame rail, and it goes to the factory ground right here where all of this is ground. I went ahead and neatly ran it along this front harness. You can see it dip down here, and I ran it along the front harness, and we brought it in through the fender well here where you guys saw the stuff before. It comes right up, right along here. In their instructions, they say to tuck it up and around the back and bring it that way. Most of their customers are Whipple trucks. I already have a lot going on back there, so I decided to run it across the front. You do have enough slack to do so, or you can bring it up right there, run it right along the back, tuck it with your other harnesses, and bring it right here and make your connections. All right, guys, so we've started our truck. We've checked for leaks. No leaks anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and fire everything up, go run and swap the truck to E85, because we're gonna be putting it on full pump E85, swap maps with the secondary map that Rob Shoemaker sent us. And we're gonna take a couple of logs. We'll kind of go from there.